Hello, and my name is Christopher Childers, and this is my potluck presentation PowerPoint that I'm going to be going over. So, what was my topic for my paper? Well, my paper was I decided to write about the atomic bombs, and to be more specific about it, I decided to talk about how relations have changed due to the dropping of the atomic bombs during World War II. And when I found out during my research that I found just like right before anything was the term atomic diplomacy, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. But I found that to be really important and really vital to what's going on in the world right now as well. So, why is it important? Well, obviously, the atomic bombs helped end World War II when we dropped them on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. The use of the bombs was disliked by many countries which harmed relations with the US, which that's one of the things I originally wanted to go into researching this paper. The atomic bombs could also be used for power, which is the term atomic diplomacy, which I later found out. Atomic diplomacy, for those of you who haven't heard about it before, atomic diplomacy was a term developed by a scientist back in the 1960s, I believe it said, and it's the term when using atomic nuclear power to influence other countries that don't have the atomic weapons and all that to influence the higher countries who have the atomic weapons to overpower the lower countries and be able to influence the lower countries into doing whatever they want, whatever the higher countries want them to do, because they don't have the weapons and they can completely destroy the entire country if they wanted to. Also, what I found out during my research was the Cold War was indirectly caused by the atomic bombs being developed because, like I said, it goes into the term atomic diplomacy, which is in the nuclear arms race, which took place during the Cold War, which took place just because of this, because the Soviet Union wanted to be just like the U.S. and get lots of military power. So the primary sources that I used for this paper, most of them I found were transcripts from radio broadcasts. Two of them were from President Truman, and one of them was his address to Congress uh, to identify the power of nuclear weapons and to understand how they need to be regulated. And then the second one was between President Truman and Winston Churchill, talking about the use of the atomic weapons. And then the other ones I have were newspaper articles that were re-uploads from news sources today. The New York Times for one of them, and the New York Daily for other ones. And they were just re-uploads of the paper that happened back in the 1940s when the first bombs were actually dropped, so I can get a sense of how the people felt when it first happened and all that. And then what would happen if I could have more time, like more resources, all that to look into this topic? Well, as it says here, if I had more time, I would do more research on the country's relations and see how they change in depth. Like I only had a short time to really research all this stuff, and like over the semester and all that, like there's still a lot to learn. Like I said here, learn more about atomic diplomacy. There's a lot to learn than more than what I put in my paper and what I researched just in a short time. If I had more time, I could research, like go in more in depth and like specifically go into like certain countries, say like North, South Korea, China, all that. And so I could see also if the atomic bombs were truly needed to be used or not to end the war with Japan. Because I saw in some of my articles that scientists calculated that Japan didn't need didn't Japan was going to drop was does ah, Japan wasn't didn't really need to be have the bombs dropped on them because they were going to surrender anyways due to the military strategics that the U.S. was having in the strongholds, especially back in Okinawa when they first started capturing all the main islands. So that is my presentation in my paper. Please feel free to comment and ask me questions, and thank you.